Hi, welcome to Arcana Tarot Study Group. I'm Bruce Gardner. Today we're going to look at the tarot cards and try to get to know them a little better. A lot of people want to read the tarot, but in order to really read the tarot you have to get to know the cards. Today we're going to look specifically at the 22 Major Arcana cards. Now, the 22 Major Arcana can be seen as the hero's journey, and that's truly what it is. It's a spiritual journey, which the Fool, the unnumbered card or card 0, takes a journey through the Major Arcana. Now, the Major Arcana each represent forces in life, forces in the universe, archetypal forces, and the ultimate destiny of the Fool is here at the World, card number 21. The 22 Major Arcana can be viewed as 2 rows of 10, card number 1 through 10, and cards number 11 through 20, with the Fool and the World lying on either side of the journey. The Fool is unconditioned energy. He is without limits. He arises out of nothing and has no particular time, no particular place or direction. But he is the hero. He's the madman, the fool, and he encounters all of these forces through the journey and arrives at the world. Now, we're going to talk about these 2 rows of 10 in a little bit. But now, let's take a look specifically at the Fool and the World card. Alright, let's look at the Fool. Now, the Fool, as I said, is unconditioned energy. He has nowhere to go. He's a madman. He could just spend all day spinning around on that stick of his with this cat-like creature gnawing on his legs, pulling his pants down. There's a crocodile here emerging behind a broken column. He's directionless, a fool. But if we consider the final card, the World, as being his destiny, we see her beckoning to him towards spiritual fulfillment, in which the 4 elements of the Tarot Minor Arcana are displayed. She is the fulfillment of his spiritual yearning. She represents the Kundalini Shakti within him that desires full spiritual expression, let's say. So if we see this, the Fool, this unlimited potential energy, wants to emerge with this beautiful female figure in the world. We might see her as being Maya in the Sanskrit term, with this veil slipping off of her, and she carries the 2 wands in her hands. So he wishes to enter in to this sacred space. But if we look at it this way, he is emerging from the limitations of this Maya, and he is again urged on by this cat-like beast to continue his journey despite the dangers of this crocodile at his feet. So these 2 cards are the key to the tarot, of the Major Arcana specifically, but to the whole tarot. And to compare, let's look at these cards from Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. Here is the Fool, and here is the World, or as Crowley calls it, the universe. The Fool, again, this limitless energy, directionless, just exuberance, pure exuberant energy, throwing itself out, spiraling outwards. The cat there, again, attached to his leg. The crocodile under a foot. Here in the World, or the universe of Crowley's deck, again, the elemental forces are in the corners, air, fire, water, earth, while she dances. Here, the veil is now a serpent. It is the Kundalini Shakti, and round which she is spinning. Or it is spinning around her. She is like Shiva Nataraj, the dancing god, dancing in that point in time, in space, where the fool which wishes to achieve his fulfillment within the limits. It is the awakening, the full spiritual awakening of Kundalini Shakti, the spiritual fulfillment of the hero, of the spiritual aspirant. It's everyone's journey. This is everyone's story. Now, to return these keys back into their places of the Major Arcana, as the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, as we talked last time, the Tarot arose out of the Renaissance period, which also emerged from the medieval period. So we have medieval, pagan, and Christian symbolism here. And the Fool's journey is based on the decimal system in this spread. Now, there are no rules to the Tarot. No rule book has come down to us through the ages, because the Tarot itself is the book, and it can be interpreted in many ways. This is just one way to view it. So 2 rows of 10 is a very fundamental way to view this Western esoteric tradition. Get to know the cards this way. If you lay them out in 2 rows of 10, the Major Arcana, you can now consider what is the connection between the magician and force or strength. You see here he manipulates the 4 elements as the magician. Below him is strength. She has a similar symbol of her hat, the figure 8, the eternity mark. She uses her will to tame the wild beast, while he uses his will to manipulate the elements. The High Priestess, with the gold and the silver keys and the book of sacred wisdom, carries the occult knowledge. And below her, the Hanged Man, he who is seeking the deeper wisdom, going within in this yogic pose and this alchemical showering of gold and silver coins from his pouches on either side. This is another way of reading the same symbol. Here, number 3, the Empress, she who is number 3 is the triangle. She is the feminine bursting forth of life, the fertility of the green earth. Below her, number 13, Death, which is the reaper with these heads and hands growing with this plant life below. He's reaping the harvest. It's very connected, the circle of life and death. From here begins life. From here death will come. And you can read this throughout the Tarot, through the Major Arcana. Consider the High Priest, the Hierophant, the Pope. Here he's ministering to 2 disciples who wish to attain spiritual wisdom and look to him for guidance. Below him we have the Devil, who has his 2 minions tethered to this base upon which he's situated. They are bound to him. Consider these symbols. The Lovers, card number 6, this Cupid from this sunburst in the sky, shooting his arrow down to this man between the 2 women. Below is the Tower. Again, this sunburst in the sky, a bolt from the blue, an arrow point shattering this tower, and the 2 figures falling down. There's a connection to be made between love and destruction, the shattering of one's ideals. Number 7, the Chariot. He's crowned with stars underneath a star-spangled banner, balancing the light and dark sphinxes with these sacred symbols on his chariot. Below him, the Star. She is unarmored, whereas he has armor. She's completely naked. The silver and the gold vessels she pours out in balance into the water and upon the earth, underneath the stars. And this can be read throughout the entire Major Arcana. The keys are there in the cards, and by meditating upon them, you'll discover your own connections, depending on your language, your culture, your age, and your experiences. you will discover your own connections with these cards. Now, there's no set rule book. There's any way, any number of ways you can interpret the cards, but get to know them, get to know their meanings. We can worry about reversed meanings in a future video. For now, just get to know the cards really well. Consider the connections between these, like the hermit carrying his lamp in the dark, and below him is the sun, which illuminates. There's so many connections to be made there. So, I hope that helps, thinking of the hero's journey as being our own, each of our own spiritual journey, of raising our spiritual energy, the Kundalini Shakti, finding fulfillment within the boundaries of this elemental world in which we live. As the elements around the world, in the world card, will always be there, but always be something which we can move out of. Thank you very much. Thank you for your comments, and we'll do more videos in the future. Thank you for following us on Arcana Tarot Facebook page, Arcana Tarot Study Group Facebook page, and thank you very much. Namaste.